Halfway home in the 2017 Trans Am season, as always, the race is tight in TA2. The class that fits Mustang, Camaro, and Challenger in a battle of American muscle. Today, that battle moves to one of the country's iconic road racing venues, Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Classic cars at a classic track, next on CBS Sports Network. Welcome to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We're in Lexington, Ohio for coverage of Trans Am presented by Pirelli, America's road racing series. Today, it's the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Welcome to Mid-Ohio. NASCAR star Michael McDowell will join me for the call in a moment. Ashley Van Dyke with our coverage today on Pit Road. Coming off a midsummer break for Trans Am, when we were last with you at Brainerd in Minnesota about a month ago. Teams have had an opportunity to reset and get ready for the second half of the championship season. Big battle for the title shaping up in TA2. We've got a huge field of cars. A couple of the key players in that title fight are standing by with Ashley.
We're down here at the front of the grid with your points leaders, Gar Robinson and Dylan McIvern. We're halfway through the season, and it's coming down to a tight race. You guys are at Mid-Ohio starting on points. What do we look to see today?
I mean, it's going to be a tight battle. If we just look at the practice times, it's been really close up front. As always, Gar's going to be running me hard. I'm going to run him hard, and we're just going to try and put on a good show here at Mid-Ohio.
Gar Robinson leading the points and having a stellar year. What's your strategy today, and any words for Dylan?
Well, this is a really important race for the championship. This is really the make or break for the championship, I think. This sets the rest of the year. But I'm going to just do the best I can and run a clean race and try to do a good points day and run Dylan pretty hard. I'm pretty under the weather this weekend, but I'm going to give it the best I have. So.
Well, good luck to you both, and thank you so much.
All right, let's take a look at the championship standings here as we kick off the second half of the 2017 season in Trans Am 2. Gar Robinson has the top spot right now. Dylan McIvern certainly within striking distance as we head into this one, the race for the Trigon Trophy in TA2. Shane Lewis right there. Tony Buffamati, who won the series title last year, is fourth right ahead of Lawrence Loshak. Michael McDowell, this is a very tight battle.
A very tight battle. What Gar Robinson was talking about, it's a make or break for him. He has such a big points lead, has to score, not make any mistakes to control that points.
Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Lexington, Ohio. We're about an hour 15 north of Columbus, a bit south of Cleveland as well. Michael, a place you know very well, about 2.2 miles around here.
A beautiful scenic racetrack, tight, twisty, lots of elevation, blind corners. You got to be on your toes, on your games, and you can't make any mistakes.
That keyhole corner in 2 is a sweeper. Then you've got that long backstretch. Rain tires were needed earlier, but not today. It's dry. Qualifying was rained out. We had so much rain here early in the weekend. We'll line up by points today.
Very tough for teams. You want to set up for the wet. You want to set up for the dry. You're not sure what's going to happen with the weather. This could be a compromise race for a few teams.
Cloud cover starting to move away. Of course, you've got to change the setup in these cars as well.
That's right. As you're making adjustments for the wet weather, you're getting softer suspension, shocks, and if it goes dry, now you're stuck. Some teams probably pretty aggressive, hoping that it'll be dry. Maybe some other teams played their cards towards the wet.
Well, the weather may have had an impact on qualifying. One of the teams that certainly didn't perform as well as they expect to, the three-dimensional services group. Doug Peterson, former Trans Am champion in the 87. There's the 88. His teammate now, Rafa Matos. They field a pair of these beautiful Camaros. We talked to Rafa before the start today. He's plenty excited to be back in this car after nearly going to victory lane at Detroit.
Hats off to the guys. You know, they did an amazing job. We got this car, Doug's car, 48 hours prior to this race, and they did an amazing job preparing the car, and here we are with 2 cars looking good. Detroit was definitely a good race for us. I was hoping I would get that win. We ran out of time, unfortunately. Hopefully we have better luck this weekend.
Well, his feedback has been excellent for me because now I know what I'm doing wrong. and he's helped on the car setup. And so on practice yesterday, I think I was 7th overall, which is really moving up for me. So he's really helped a lot so far.
And trouble on the pace lap for the 26 of Matt Tifft, a guy you know well, Michael McDowell.
Matt Tifft looking to get some additional experience at Mid-Ohio before the Xfinity race. Obviously something not happening right with that car. Unfortunately, not too many laps for him.
Is Mike Cope Racing Ford having mechanical issues? Let's listen here.
Sounds like something in the transmission or the drive line, drive shaft. Obviously, you hear him going to the accelerator. Motor's just free revving, no gears. Unfortunately, that sounds like that's going to end his day.
So Matt Tifft stopping along the side of the race course. They will go and get him. Meantime, safety car heads for pit road. 100 miles of racing coming your way at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Dylan McIvern in the 24. Gar Robinson in the 74 on the front row for the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. And we are underway. Down into one. McIvern on the inside.
Gar Robinson holding tight on the outside, trying to get the run down into turn 2.
Robinson, the former series champ, up through the gears to grab the lead, heading toward the keyhole. Shane Lewis into the team car, the 72 on the outside, bidding for second. Buffamani back there. Cameron Lawrence way wide in the 19 car.
Nice clean start, side-by-side racing, nobody giving an inch, but at the same time to get through those first 2 corners, a lot of excitement at the start of the race. Everybody did a great job there.
Gar Robinson pulling out by a couple of car lengths, but here comes McIvern. Lewis will drop to the inside, thinking about making it too wide. Buffamani goes up alongside the 72. Oh, and the 67 of Chris Peterson off early, the C&B Installations Chevrolet. Off into one of the gravel traps, able to get that Chevrolet back up on the course. Meantime, battling for position in the top 5, Buffamani and Shane Lewis. Buffamani's got the spot. On board here with Lawrence Loshak in the Pennzoil ETE Reman Chevrolet. He's up behind Shane Lewis now in that top 5. Heading up toward the carousel. That puts you back on the short front straightaway here in Mid-Ohio.
This is a very physically challenging course. We heard Gar Robinson early in the interview, a little under the weather. This is one of those tracks that you have to be on your game. You have to be as tough as nails because you don't get a break. These straightaways are very short. Even the longest straightaway has a kink in it. So you have to be precise. You can't make any mistakes. This might be a tough race for Gar under the weather.
Buffamani, the 2016 Trans Am 2 champion. Little puff of gray smoke out of the back of the McIvern machine, the 24. His teammate Buffamani closes in at the apex of that corner. Meantime, the third Mike Cope Mustang on pit road with problems. Ashley Van Dyke catching up to the 26 team.
Just as we were taking the green flag, the Cope Racing team ran down to the end of the pit lane as Matt Tifft was coasting in. No forward drive in the car. They pushed the machine all the way up to the other end of the pit lane and were able to jack it up, find a broken rear axle. The crew is going to get that fixed and try to get Matt back out there, Rick.
You can see, Michael McDowell, they had an axle out for that car, so apparently in the center section, something didn't connect properly there. Rafa Matos picked up 6 positions in the first couple of laps here. He's got a strong race car today.
And unfortunately for Rafa, this is the second time he's had to come from the back of the field. Hasn't got qualifying in yet in the TA2 category. If he does get an opportunity to qualify and can start up front, he will be a contender for wins. To see him get through the field as fast as he has, all he's going to need is 1 or 2 cautions to get caught up.
Catching up to the back end of the 17 car, Scott Lagacy Jr. You might recognize that name. His dad, Scott Lagacy, a well-known road racer in a variety of series for a long, long time. Scott Jr. making his way up through the NASCAR ranks as well, here to get some additional seat time in their TA2 entry. Gar Robinson continues to lead McIvern. Third spot belongs to Buffamani. Shane Lewis in front of Lawrence Loshak. Cameron Lawrence, the 2-time TA2 champion, and Ray DeVos Chevrolet up into 6th position in the early going here at Mid-Ohio. Heading to the backside of the racetrack, Michael, this is one of the trickiest places in American road racing.
It's so much fun, though. You have a lot of elevation. As you can see, you go up over crests, blind corners. The back of the car gets light. You slide over those hills. Like I said, this is a track for drivers. You have to be precise. You can't make any mistakes. And the pass here is very challenging. You got to be aggressive.
Up the hill, heading toward turns 11, 12, and 13 at Mid-Ohio. Remember, this place is only 2.2 miles. In a couple of weeks, Trans Am will go to Road America, almost twice the length of this place. You've got to get your work done pretty quickly around here.
You do, and when you get behind a car like you see Dylan McIvern is right now in Gar Robinson, you have to pounce because it's so easy to protect that inside line, and there's only a...
Oh! Ray Naveau, the team owner of the Class Auto Motorsports Chevrolet, is the 29 car off and into one of the soft walls. That may bring out a full course yellow. That's coming up the hill towards the carousel. McIvern, meantime, shouldering his way by Robinson to take the lead.
Just like we talked about, you got to be fast, you got to be precise, and you got to be aggressive when you have the opportunity.
Dylan McIvern out of Vermont, the Heritage Motorsports Mike Cope Racing Ford, as Naveau tries to get the 29 pointed in the right direction, spins that thing out onto the asphalt with oncoming traffic. Chris Peterson says, hey, I'll go through the grass to avoid a hit there.
And you can see the car not stopping in the grass. We've had a lot of rain here in Mid-Ohio. The grass is wet. Oh man, that is tragic for those guys right there, so close to having an accident.
Peterson off for the second time here in the early going in Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. No change among the top three. McIvern out in front. We'll see if the youngster from Vermont can take it home and earn the victory here at Mid-Ohio.
The FirstEnergy Trans Am 100 on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by FirstEnergy, the official energy of Trans Am racing at Mid-Ohio. By GoShare, your friend with a truck. And by Pirelli. Power is nothing without control.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge for TA2 machines. He's Michael McDowell. I'm Rick Benjamin. Ashley Van Dyke with our coverage on pit road. Dylan McIvern and that Mike Cope Ford starting to stretch it out a little. Michael, and a car goes around. That's Lawrence Loshak and the Pennzoil ETE Reman Chevrolet spinning in almost the same spot that Ray Naveau did earlier.
A very challenging part of the racetrack. We've seen 3 cars go off in this area. Lots of cars barely missing Loshak there. Hopefully everybody will get by clean.
Fortunately, there in the 31, Elias Anderson off as well. Slightly different part of the racetrack, but you can see how wet the grass still is here at Mid-Ohio. Here's another look at it.
Just got a little bit wide. As soon as you touch the grass, the car loses control. Couple 360s. Looks like he'll be able to get back onto the racetrack.
Anderson stopping very close to the apex of one of the downhill corners, but he's able to grab a gear and get moving again. The 88 of Rafael Matos, meantime, on the move, headed toward the front today, still behind Scott Lagasse and Adam Andretti, but he's raced his way into the top 10 here in the early laps. Andretti opening the door for Lagasse. And Matos just watching there in the 88 car. Oh, and Lagasse goes around and hits the tires a ton.
Big impact on the accelerator, trying to make that pass. Got into the gas a little bit too hard. Got the car spun around. Looks like maybe he can get out of that tire barrier.
Scott Lagasse Jr. from St. Augustine, Florida, the StreamYourMachine.org Chevrolet. Take a look at what happened here.
Just got too much of that curb, got into that wet grass, inside tire spun, and that's all it took.
When you unload one of these cars, when you get weight off one corner of the car, really hard to keep it in the right direction.
It is, but more so than that, I think, is that wet grass that's playing such a part of this race so far today.
Lawrence Loshak back on the racetrack in the 5 car. See if Loshak can get a full course yellow, get himself back at the tail end of the field and start to make some headway here. Loshak and the ETE Reman Pennzoil Chevrolet doing a terrific job. Up front, meantime, Dylan McIvern leading the 74 of Gar Robinson, former series champion. Right behind him, last year's champion, the 34 of Tony Buffamante from the Chicago, Illinois area. Running through that grass that got kicked up on the racetrack hasn't been an issue so far. I'm not sure I like what I'm seeing out of McIvern's car, Michael. A couple of times as he's downshifted, we've seen some gray smoke come out of the back of that machine.
And I'm not sure exactly what's happening. It's like you said, when he makes that downshift and gives the gas a little bit of a rev to match those gears, it's kind of puffing a dark black smoke. Not sure if he's fighting something with the engine or mechanically, but does look like there appears to be something going on.
Something going on definitely with Sheldon Creed in the Speedlogic 77, the Stevens Miller Dodge. Creed started 13th today, lined up on points. You can tell he's been off once. That was on lap 5. He's working his way back toward the front, but the nose of that car a little dirty, Michael.
Little cosmetic damage. You can see where he's gone off course. The splitter's bent up, kind of worn away there. But with these cars, as long as everything is functioning, the suspension, all that, the splitter isn't going to do a whole lot here at Mid-Ohio. He should still have speed in his car.
Sheldon Creed, a young gun from El Cajon, California. If that sounds familiar, that's Jimmy Johnson's hometown. He's trying to find his way in this sport the same way, from off-road racing to stock cars.
He's getting a lot of experience. He's racing a lot of different types of cars on different surfaces, and that's really a good path for young drivers. Get a lot of experience in a lot of different cars and be rounded, diverse, and he's definitely doing that.
Still in the early laps here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Top three starting to pull away. Dylan McIvern saw that puff of smoke again coming to 13, but he's adding to his lead.
He's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's had a tough season, a lot of bad luck. We always see speed out of him. He's always near the front. But this might be the day that he gets back to victory lane.
On board with Gar Robinson running second, the 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet Camaro. Off of turn one, headed toward the keyhole here. I hate to say this, Michael, but you know the old line in racing, they run best right before they blow up sometimes. We'll see what happens to the 24. Here's Adam Andretti, now Rafa Matos right behind the 44 car as they battle it out for sixth here in the early going.
Rafa Matos up 10 spots. He's got to get around Andretti, but you can see the gap between the top five and where they're at right now. Without a caution, this is going to be a very challenging run to victory lane for Rafa Matos.
Matos comes off the keyhole, tries to turn inside the 44, but Andretti's able to stay in front of him, at least for now, down the backstretch. Oh, and the 31 of Anderson off again. Elias Anderson with another trip into the grass. Here's Matos sizing up Andretti into the right-hander, into the kink, but can't get it done.
Deep in the brake zones, both drivers pushing their cars to the very limit right there. Not far enough alongside for Matos. He's going to keep pressure on Andretti.
Makes the move this time. The 88 car, the three-dimensional Services Group Chevrolet, gets past Andretti for sixth.
That was a power move there. Aggressive, caught Adam Andretti off guard, stuffed it down in there and made it stick.
Rafa Matos, a former champion in the old Atlantic Championship back 10 or more years ago, has a lot of IndyCar experience, has been racing stock cars in his native country, and has come here to help out the three-dimensional Services Group Trans Am team, working with Doug Peterson's group, and doing a great job. McIvern, meantime, up front, lapping by one of the slower machines here, Phil DePippo's 94. Robinson will have to wait. This will allow McIvern to add to the lead.
You can't time that any better than that. Dylan was able to get by, not lose any time. Unfortunately for Gar, got held up getting into the brake zone, and Dylan stretches out his lead.
Tony Buffamani in third. Meantime, the defending TA2 champion takes a peek to the inside of the 74, willing to bide his time. I think Buffamani has figured out, because he's won the last couple of these races, especially the way these new Pirelli radials are, you really need to wait until the last 10 laps or so.
He's the quiet assassin. He sits back there, he sizes up the competition, and when it gets close to the end of the race, he's able to put himself in position for a victory. He's done it time and time again. He's aggressive when he needs to be. He rides when he needs to be too.
And Adam Andretti, after giving up that sixth position to the 88 of Matos, ends up in the tires with a wheel off in the 44 car. Take another look at what happened. Here's Matos. That wheel must have come off going into the corner.
You can see he had no control of the vehicle, no tire in sight there. Obviously, that wheel broke off a couple. Whoa, you can see it right there as he gets on the accelerator. Hard on the brakes, nothing he can do but hold on.
Soft walls in many places now around Mid-Ohio. You can see the steel wheel with the Pirelli radial go bouncing by. Another look from another angle. The incident on lap 14 of 45 here today. Down to pit road. Here's Ashley.
The pit box of the 44, Adam Andretti. Steve Ray, you reported that a wheel came off and he has gone off track. What's the status of Adam right now?
He's okay. We're just not sure what came off. It was a lug or hub. Right now they're stuck out there, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. But we're done for the day.
That's a disappointment for Adam Andretti and this 44 team here at Mid-Ohio.
Tough break for Adam Andretti and the ECC team of Arnie Henriksen. They were solidly in the top 10, but their day is over way too early. Top 5 in the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. Dylan McIvern is your leader. We'll be back. It's been a struggle for many today on the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Welcome back. I'm Rick Benjamin with Michael McDowell. Big crowd on hand to watch Trans Am. And our event sponsor is FirstEnergy. Here's Ashley.
A great place to catch up with Ron Ferre on behalf of FirstEnergy is down here in Victory Lane. You guys are a longtime partner here at Trans Am at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Tell us about your involvement with the series and where you find the value here.
Well, this is our 4th year in sponsoring this event. It's very exciting. Through our FirstEnergy Foundation, there's a number of events like this that we can sponsor. It's great to be out in the community, helping these exciting things happen. We've got hundreds of employees in the Ohio area that just volunteer every day, so we're glad to be here and excited about it.
Thank you.
Getting ready to restart here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We certainly appreciate FirstEnergy's involvement here in the Trans Am weekend. 4 wide for a moment, heading into 1. McIvern emerges with the lead. Cameron Lawrence in the 19 car getting going now. He's challenging for 3rd.
Some gamemanship played on that restart. We saw Tony Buffamani go from 3rd to challenge for the lead.
Rafa Matos goes around. He tags Lawrence. Hits him again on the apex. Knocks the driver panel off the 19 car and regains his form. Wow.
A lot of action heading into turn 2.
Piece of bodywork goes flying off of the 88 car. Let's take another look at it here.
As they get into the brake zone, Rafa Matos caught off guard by Cameron Lawrence, getting on the brakes, locks up the rear tires. You see the car shoot sideways, and contact was made.
And then, because of the momentum in that corner and that right-hander, he got into Lawrence one more time, and that peeled the right front corner off the 88 car. There it is.
You can see right there, Matos' car juked to the left and back to the right. He wasn't even trying to make a pass there, just a mistake, caught off guard, got on the brakes a little bit too hard. The car swapped around on him.
Take another look at it here from Lawrence's viewpoint.
And Lawrence did a great job there, woeing the car up, getting it slowed down, not making additional contact with Matos' car. Could have been bad for both of them right there. It looks like a lot of cosmetic damage, but Cameron Lawrence is still in the gas and still fighting hard.
Now, we talked about this a moment ago, Michael McDowell, while we were away in break. Here at Mid-Ohio, aerodynamics not as important as it would be in some other places. Still, that's got to slow that car down a lot, I think.
Well, as a driver, give me more downforce. I'll take downforce all day long. But at some places, like in particular Mid-Ohio, it's not going to be as critical. Now, that's going to cause a lot of drag down the straightaway. It's going to slow the car down. Cameron Lawrence is going to stay nice and cool in that car, though. He's got a lot of air coming through, but it shouldn't affect the corners. He should be able to maintain speed pretty well.
Trans Am officials Terry Dale, Wally Dallenbach is the chief steward. They've got to be watching this to see if they need to bring Lawrence to pit road and have some of that bodywork removed. Here's Shane Lewis up alongside the 19 into the right-hander here. Can't get the job done. Lewis on the curb goes around.
Cameron Lawrence was not giving up the fight right there. He did not surrender. Closed the door on Shane Lewis. Pinched him down up over the curb. Made a little bit of contact. Unfortunately for Shane, it lost a lot of spots.
You talked earlier about Tony Buffamani being kind of a quiet assassin. Here's another look at it. Shane tried to make the move to the inside. Lawrence did not give him running room. Cameron Lawrence is as unassuming a young driver as you'll ever meet. But boy, he is tough as nails out there.
And this happens. There's emotion out there. You're fighting hard. You're sweating. It's hot. It's hard. When Cameron Lawrence has a great race going, gets contact, not of his own doing, he's fired up in there. He's not going to just roll over and let Shane Lewis by. Shane, seeing the damage, says, all right, now's my time. I'm going to go for it. Cameron wasn't ready to give up that spot.
Into that 90-degree left, turn 1 here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Lawrence Loshak's Pennzoil Chevrolet up behind Doug Peterson in the three-dimensional services group 87, right behind his teammate Matos in the damaged 88 car. They battle for position here, and in front of those three, of course, the 19 of Lawrence. Take a look at your running order. Top of your screen, Lawrence 4th, Matos is 5th, then Peterson and Loshak. And this should, except for the fact that Matos' car is damaged, we see Loshak sizing up the 87 and the 88 here as the fight for 5th starts to develop.
How about Doug Peterson having a great day? We heard him talk earlier about Rafa Matos bringing a lot of experience and knowledge to the race team. He is hanging tough with these young guys right on his teammate's bumper, watching that action happen in front of him.
Well, Doug Peterson, no slouch behind the wheel a couple of seasons ago. The champion in Trans Am, the 800 horsepower tube-frame lightweight cars that are the headliners in Trans Am. Peterson doing a nice job, though, in his brand new TA2 ride, holding off Lawrence Loshak, who's also extremely talented. Loshak had that spin earlier, closing in now, trying to make a fight out of it here for 5th and 6th.
Loshak had a nice recovery. We saw a spin through the grass right in this corner here. Luckily for him, a caution came out, got regrouped. Now he's fighting again for a top 5. Maybe he can even get on the podium.
Best run of the season so far for Steve Kent Jr. in the 25, one of Blaze Sida's machines, the BC Race Cars Chevrolet. Next in line, Tom Sheehan in the 97. He's running in front of Keith Proshuk, and there's the 02. John Atwell out of Texas having a good run here today as he tries to hold Sheldon Creed back.
Sheldon Creed, we saw, had an off earlier, way back in the 16th position, working his way back towards the front.
Good competition throughout the field, as usual, here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in TA2, the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. Meantime, for the lead, Buffamani has gotten around Gar Robinson, and problems here for the 17. Scott Lagasse Jr. had that off earlier. His driver panels come off. back on course, but way off the pace through the keyhole.
Heavy contact with the tire barrier. He was able to drive out, but you can see that rear end's a little bit skewed. Might have bent the suspension. It's going to be tough for him to finish this race.
The Mike Cope teammates in their Fords, McEvern in the 24, Buffamati in the 34. They've gotten around Gar Robinson's 74 Ranch Resort Chevrolet here. Out of the carousel, out of the front straightaway.
Gar doing a great job hanging on to this battle. Got a little bit rattled on that last restart when Tony Buffamati put him 3 wide. He's back in the fight, and this is something we see Gar do a lot. He's lost the lead. He's led a lot of laps this year, but he puts himself in position to win these races.
This could bring out a full course yellow. Legacy Jr. coasting to a stop here down the back stretch. We'll see what happens. We stay green for the moment. And the 88 of Matos has gone off. Lost that right front fender. He's off in the mud and the grass, and will come back up onto the racetrack, but he's lost a ton of positions. Here's what happened. He and the boss got together.
That replay doesn't show it, but to me it looked like Doug Peterson had a fender on Rafa. Rafa didn't give him room. Doug made the pass happen.
As they say, 8 tires are always better than 4, unless you're the guy on the outside.
Those team meetings are going to be fun on Monday.
Meantime, Legacy stops off the racetrack, but that does bring out a full course yellow here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Right back with more of the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge.
Trans Am on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Speedcom Communications. For 20 years, the world leader in motorsports radio and communications systems.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in Lexington, Ohio. TA2, our spotlight today. The FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. Getting set for a restart. Field behind the safety car. Safety car heads for pit road. Everyone chasing Dylan McEvern in the 24 car. Green is in the air. Tony Buffamati, though, on the charge into turn 1. He is second in front of Gar Robinson.
A clean restart there. Tony Buffamati was not able to have any gamemanship there, single file, but he's putting the pressure on Dylan.
Doug Peterson trying to challenge Lawrence Loshak as they fight it out for 5th. Lawrence is 4th into the keyhole. Again, I'm astounded that with that bodywork flapping, he hasn't been called to pit road, and that car doesn't seem to be any slower.
He's doing a great job, hasn't lost any speed, putting the pressure on Gar Robinson for a podium finish.
Steve Kent Jr. very much in the mix in that green 25 from BC Race Cars, doing a terrific job. Loshak will swing to the outside to try to get around him, and the lead changes going down into the right-hander. It's Buffamati on top.
Buffamati deep in the brakes, got underneath Dylan McEvern, drove it in there and made it stick.
Now the question is, was the 24 holding up the 34? I think we may know the answer.
Well, we're going to find out very shortly here. Tony Buffamati doing what he does best, letting the first half of the race play out and pouncing at the end.
On board here with Loshak. Behind Peterson, back as they fight for 5th and 6th. The 34 of Buffamati opening up a lead now over McEvern. Robinson 3rd, Lawrence is 4th, Peterson 5th. Matos back on the racetrack after that off-course excursion when he and his teammate Peterson got together a few laps ago in the carousel. But Doug Peterson doing a terrific job here in the 87.
This is one of Doug Peterson's favorite courses, Mid-Ohio. He's had a lot of success here, always run well here. Not surprised to see him challenging for a top 5.
Now, as the team owner and the car owner of that 88 car, maybe he's got a little extra incentive. He's got Lawrence in his gun sights directly ahead.
Gar Robinson trying it the hard way on the outside. Very tough pass to pull off.
Some of the bodywork went flying off the 19 car in that corner, and that may help Cameron Lawrence.
And as a driver, when you're following behind somebody that has damage like that, and you see pieces flying off that car, you're on the radio telling them, hey, you got to get him off the racetrack. He's got parts flying off everywhere. There's oil. You just got to get him out of my way.
No moves like that so far, though. Here, McEvern in second. Robinson right behind him, looking for a way past the 24 car. McEvern hanging tough here, using up all the racetrack to hold on to second spot. Lawrence is 4th.
And who we're not seeing in this shot is Tony Buffamati stretching out that lead. Just a handful of laps since the restart. He's doing a great job.
He's doing a great job on those Pirelli racing radials. Pirelli now the presenting sponsor of TA2, and they provide great radial tires for all classes in Trans Am competition. Measuring tire temperatures is a huge issue for these teams and the tire engineers. Here's Ashley to explain.
Tire engineers are going to be looking at these Pirelli P0s in 3 different areas of the tire: the outside, the middle, and the inside. Ideally, what they're going to be looking for is about a 20-degree variance from the outside to the inside. Now, depending on how the tire's inflated, if it's overinflated, you're going to see it hotter in the center. If it's underinflated, it's going to be cooler in the center. This is important stuff for these guys to look at, getting their tire temperatures so they can have a good competitive practice, qualifying, and race.
Tires are such a huge part to the performance of the race car, and teams are pushing it. They're maximizing their cambers, the air pressure, and what the temperature does. It allows you to know exactly what side of that tire is working and how hard it's working.
Everybody working their tires to the max here on the elevation change portion of Mid-Ohio, backside of the race course. Dylan McIvern now under attack from Cameron Lawrence. I think the 24 may be developing a problem. McIvern comes back at Cameron here, but he cannot hold on to 3rd spot. Doug Peterson right there trying to pounce and take away 4th.
Cameron Lawrence had a great opportunity there. He saw a hole, he went for it. It almost appeared that Dylan was almost caught off guard by that pass.
So Lawrence now to 3rd in the 19 car. McIvern right behind him in the 24. Peterson is 5th. 6th belongs to Loshak. Everyone chasing Tony Buffalmani here as we're well past halfway now. And here comes Loshak on the inside of Peterson. Lawrence Loshak tries to lean on the 87 and goes around and sends Peterson around.
Doug Peterson did not give him very much room there. Hard fight, side by side, pinched him down on the curb, and unfortunately for both drivers, they lose spots.
Doug Peterson beached there at the exit of turn 2. That may well bring out a caution also. Rafa Matos, meantime, looks to the inside. The fight here for 6th through 10th. Shane Lewis busts his way to the inside to try to pass the 88, and he gets it done. Take another look at what happened going into the keyhole, Michael McDowell.
A racing incident. Doug Peterson did not give him a whole lot of room there. Obviously, he was well inside. Contact was made. It can go either way, right? But this is racing. You see Loshak well alongside, not completely wheel to wheel. Not sure if Doug Peterson knew he was there quite yet.
So he got pinched down. Peterson ends up the worse for wear on this one, spinning off into the gravel trap, and he can't get refired. Buffalmani leading Robinson and Lawrence. We'll be back at Mid-Ohio. Back at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, coverage of the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge for TA2. I'm Rick Benjamin, Michael McDowell alongside Ashley Van Dyke with our coverage on pit road. Green flag is back in the air, and Dylan McIvern's in trouble. McIvern off the pace coming down the front straightaway. Wow. Driveline problems in that Mike Cope machine as well, Michael McDowell.
Sounds like the motor shut off there. I'm not sure what happened on that restart. Maybe a possible misshift. I'm not certain what happened.
It did look as though McIvern's car had been slowing the last many laps. We saw puffs of smoke out of the back of the car. The Mike Cope team and Trans Am officials going to collect the 24 and push him back into a safe zone behind the concrete barrier there. Meantime, the leaders on the backstretch. Here comes Shane Lewis. Takes another look inside Tom Sheehan's 97 car.
Shane Lewis getting aggressive. Last half of this race. Now's the time to make your moves.
Working lap 33 of 45 today in the 100-mile FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. A little further back, Keith Proshuk and Sheldon Creed side by side. Creed trying to rebound from an early spin. Gets around Proshuk for position. Sheldon Creed really hustling that Dodge Challenger.
That's what I love about TA2. No matter where you're at in the field, it could be a battle for the lead, a battle for 5th, or a battle for 8th, as we see right here. They're side by side. It's intense, fighting tooth and nail.
Sheehan, who had a top 5 position within his grasp, spins in the carousel, coming to the front straightaway. Tom Sheehan of the 97. Out of northern New England, the LTK Insulation Chevrolet. Back on the racetrack, here's another look.
You can see right there, as soon as he got on the brake, car got light, locked up those rear tires. No contact was made, just a spin all on his own.
Now we're late in this one, coming up on 10 laps to go, so your tire wear has been pretty strong. You've also got a situation maybe where the brake bias isn't right.
Well, as these tires fall off, you definitely got to make adjustments inside the cockpit.
So the battle rages back in the top 10 in TA2. Let's get an update from pit road. Here's Ashley.
We just spoke with Travis Cope about possible engine trouble with Dylan McIvern. Sure enough, on that restart, Rick, Dylan's car failed to make it into turn 1. He was disabled. It was the end of pit road. They have pushed the car back into the pits, and Dylan is out of the car down here. See if we can speak with him in a minute.
McIvern won the season opener, Michael McDowell, in TA2 back in March in Florida at Sebring. He's had a couple of other really good runs, some podium finishes, but mechanical woes have been their Achilles heel this season.
A strong car, strong driver, always running up front. But like you said, we've seen a lot of mechanical issues this year for him and his team.
How about this for 4th spot? Steve Kent Jr., by far his best performance of this season in the BC Race Car Chevrolet. Behind the 19 of Cameron Lawrence. Lawrence Loshak rebounding from that spin. You can see some contact there. He's gotten into it a couple of times here today. The fight for a top 5 finish here today. Here's Loshak swinging to the inside of Steve Kent.
Loshak's having a great day. Unfortunately for him, he's been in all the excitement. Got run into, had side-by-side contact. Both sides of his race car is beat up, banged up, but he's still fighting for a top 5. He's had to pass a lot of cars, and he's definitely doing it with a vengeance right now.
9 laps to go. Move Loshak into the top 4. On board meantime with Cameron Lawrence in the 19, one of the 2 Class Auto Chevrolets in the field. Class Auto and the entire Trans Am family mourning the loss of one of this team's members. Sean Brazeau, at age 50, passing away just a short time before Mid-Ohio weekend. Sean was the tire specialist for the 2 Class Auto Chevrolets. He was about to become the lead wrench on the 29 car of Ray Naveau. He'll be much missed by the team and by everyone at Trans Am. We'll be back. Welcome back to Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Lexington, Ohio. Coverage of the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. He's Michael McDowell. I'm Rick Benjamin. Great battle raging here for 6 spots. Steve Kent Jr. gives it up to Rafa Matos in the 88 car.
A little bumping and banging there on the exit. Rafa Matos is still fighting hard, even with all that damage.
You'd like to think that if Matos hadn't been involved in a couple of dust-ups, he'd be in the running for a podium spot. But here comes Steve Kent Jr. on the outside saying, hey, I'm not going to give this spot up. Matos, though, has the preferred line on the inside. Oh, and there's contact.
I could feel this brewing. After they made contact on the exit of turn 2, you could feel it. There was an intensity about how Kent went into the brake zone. He was not happy with Rafa on how he raced him. Gave it back to him a little bit.
One more look at it in slow motion this time. Matos did not give him any room on the exit of that.
Neither driver was given an inch, and you'll have that late in the race. When you're fighting and battling hard, emotion gets in, and sometimes you can lose the battle too.
Well, emotion's certainly running white hot. You can see a piece of debris there nearly setting the turf on fire here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Let's check in with Ashley.
Catching up with Dylan McIvern, who just hopped out of the car. We heard from Travis that you might have been having some engine problems, and then sure enough, on that restart, you didn't even make it into turn 1. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, right before that first yellow flag, we started to develop a misfire. It just got worse and worse. I did all I could to stay out in front of those guys, but yeah, and then actually it seems like something in the driveline let go too. They might be related because we were just working that driveline too hard with the engine shutting off on like it was. But really unfortunate for the championship hunt and for the Mike Cope guys. They worked so hard to get me out here. The car was awesome all day. I think we definitely had the car to beat, but yeah, it's just really disappointing. I feel like
On to Road America.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dylan.
Dylan McIvern plenty disappointed after another mechanical issue. Sometimes you have those things.
Seasons like this can be tough on a driver. You don't want to lose your confidence. Dylan's a great driver, young talent, going to win races, already has won races.
AEM Infinity, one of the major partners of Trans Am and Trans Am 2, they supply a spec engine management system for all of these competitors. Everyone on a level playing field, Michael McDowell. Some cool technology here.
Not only do they provide the engine management, but now every competitor can have the vehicle dynamic module. And what this does, this allows the drivers and the crew to look at the track map, look at brake pressure, throttle traces, all integrated into a tidy, nice system that AEM has provided for these teams.
TA2 using this technology to create a very level playing field between the 3 engine manufacturers. Ford, Chevy, Dodge, all on a very much an equal basis here in TA2. The competition's been stout. AEM Infinity largely responsible for a lot of that by producing these spec engine management modules and systems that go on all of these cars. White flag is in the air. Tony Buffamati emerging from the TA2 battle today. He has been flawless. He really saved his equipment well today, I think.
and he's been out of all the drama. Had a great restart, made some spots up, but hasn't had contact, hasn't put a wheel wrong all day. And as you can see, a lot of damage on a lot of cars in today's race. Tony Buffamonte's car is looking really nice.
One of the Mike Cope Fords, the Best Line Lubricants 34, the defending TA2 champion. Tony Buffamonte out of the Chicagoland area has been to victory lane a couple of times already this season, looking to add one more to his resume and take a giant step toward the 2017 TA2 championship. Gar Robinson in second, Cameron Lawrence third, one more trip around the 2.2 miles of Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
And as a driver, you're looking in your rearview mirror, you're seeing the lead, you're saying, don't make a mistake, nothing break. All I gotta do is hold on one more lap.
Lawrence Loshak, meantime, on the attack on the final lap against Shane Lewis. This is fourth position in play.
Side-by-side racing, contact made. Lawrence putting the bumper to him.
Loshak in the Pennzoil 5 car, Lewis in the 72 from the 74 Ranch Resort bunch trying to hold him off. Meantime, a couple of corners from home. Buffamonte will make it through the carousel, make that final right-hander, and work his way down to the start-finish line and the checkered flag. Tony Buffamonte, your winner of the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. Gar Robinson comes across in second, and Cameron Lawrence, with all that damage, ends up third. Lewis is going to grab fourth in front of Loshak.
Very tight battle all throughout this race. Lawrence Loshak, top 5 after having 2 spins in this race.
Buffamonte, your winner. We'll talk to him in victory lane when we come back.
The FirstEnergy Trans Am 100 on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by FirstEnergy, the official energy of Trans Am racing at Mid-Ohio. By GoShare, your friend with a truck. And by Pirelli, power is nothing without control.
Back at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Lexington, Ohio, fans enjoyed a wild win in the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. Our winner today, Tony Buffamonte. He's in victory lane with Ashley.
Tony Buffamonte just jumping out of the Ford Mustang here, getting business done again. You won in Brainerd and you won here at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, that's just a big credit to these guys. You know, it's been a pretty emotional week for us. We had a lot going on personally, and these guys knew I wanted this one pretty bad. So thanks you to Mike Hope Racing, Ilmore, Willwood, Best Line, of course. Travis did a great job. My dad was awesome on the radio. He talked me through the thing. We got up there a little bit, bounced back, and then we went when we had to go. So I just listened to what he tells me to do, and came out on top. So this one's for you, Charles.
Congratulations, Tony Buffamonte, and that Ford Mustang.
So Buffamonte will ride that victory to cut into the Gar Robinson Championship lead now. Take a look at your results from today's event. Buffamonte and Robinson. His teammate Shane Lewis ends up third in front of Loshak and Rapamatos. That's because the 19 of Cameron Lawrence was bounced in post-race technical inspection. The roofline of that car was too low.
These teams are all pushing as hard as they can to get any advantage. Looks like they pushed it too far.
It cost Cameron Lawrence dearly today. Our runner-up, Gar Robinson.
Gar Robinson, we talked before the race, you and Dylan, about how you needed to finish ahead of him today. You were able to do that and get the second spot on the podium.
Yeah, it was a good points day for us. I've been under the weather all week, so feedback from me and my crew has been a little rough for the past week or all weekend. So the guys put together a really great car, and I did the best I could do with how I feel right now. So it's definitely a good points day, and if I can feel 100% by Road America, I think we can finish up top. So
we'll see in Road America. Gar, he's still your points leader leaving Mid-Ohio.
Trying to win his second Trans Am 2 championship in the past 3 years. Trigger Trophy standings after 7 rounds, a 27-point lead for Robinson.
He's still got a great lead. Robinson did exactly what he talked about earlier in the show. Score points, no mistakes, continues to lead this points, but Tony Buffamonte closed the gap.
Dylan McIvern fades back to 4th with that DNF here today. Tom Sheehan rounds out your top 8. Coming up for us, coverage from Road America in a couple of weeks. It was a wild one today, certainly, in the FirstEnergy Muscle Car Challenge. For Michael McDowell, Ashley Van Dyke, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating your winner, Tony Buffamonte. Thanks for watching Trans Am, presented by Pirelli, America's Road Racing Series. We'll see you next time.